It's been several months now since I got the Ultrahuman Ring Air, and it has been a wild ride to say the least. I've been a big fan of this smart ring. In fact, it's my first time ever using a smart ring, so I have a lot of thoughts to give you here in this video, and a lot of good things, and some room for improvement as well. This is actually the first smart ring that I've ever used, so I think I am bringing a unique perspective here to this review. And in addition to that, just last week, I visited Ultrahuman's factory in Dallas, Texas, and got a chance to see how they actually build these rings. So the first part of this video is going to be my review, and then the second part of the video will be all about my experience. Now, if you find yourself interested in buying your own Ultrahuman Ring Air, I can certainly help you save some money. If you go to the link in the description, you can then use the code BREEZE10 to save 10% on your order from Ultrahuman's site. Now, Ultrahuman does sell the Ring Air at other retailers as well. However, if you buy from their site, you are getting that full 30-day return policy. So if you're not 100% satisfied with this ring, because I know it's kind of a new thing for a lot of people, then you can always return it to Ultrahuman direct. Now, you might be concerned about the fit of the ring. Of course, everyone's fingers are different in size for the most part, and you want to make sure that your ring actually fits you really well. Now, thankfully, Ultrahuman has come up with a very good solution to this, and this is the ring sizing kit. So I'll open this up right now and kind of show you what all is in here. But basically, you're getting two things. So the first thing is you're actually getting the sampler, so you can see the various colors that are available. Now, the color that I have is matte gray. Probably noticed that already, but I really like this color. And in a little bit, I will talk a little bit more about this material and why it's so durable. But as far as sizing goes, and I don't want these to fall out, they do give you a bunch of different sizes to choose from. So going from size 5 all the way up to size 14. And then when you do find a ring size that you're pretty sure about, they do recommend wearing it for about a week or so just to make sure that you do have that perfect fit and another size isn't potentially better for you instead. And then once that process gets going, then they can send you the actual ring. So I know it's a big box, but there is a small ring that comes in that box. So not only are you getting the ring itself, but you're also getting the charger for the ring. So here's the charger. It's pretty straightforward. There's USB-C on the side here. So you literally just drop the ring on the charger right there. And then of course this will be plugged in, but then from there it'll begin charging. And as far as battery life goes, expect to get about 3 to 4 days on a single charge here with the ring. I found it to actually charge very quickly, so typically I'll recharge the ring while I'm taking a shower. Of course, you want to charge it overnight or anything like that because you want to get the sleep tracking, but again, it doesn't take that long to actually recharge. So would I prefer the battery to be longer, maybe a week or 2 weeks or maybe even a month? Yeah, that'd be amazing, and I'm sure someday we'll be getting that here. But in the meantime, at least, it doesn't actually take too long to recharge the ring, even if it is completely depleted. So as I showed you, there's a lot of different colors to choose from. This is the matte gray color of the ring. So the ring is really durable because it is made out of titanium. And then we're getting a tungsten carbide carbon coating here on the outside of the ring. And I feel like that's what really sets us apart. So I've been using this ring pretty much every day now for the last several months. Maybe I missed a day or two, and the ring really looks almost brand new. Now on day one, literally, I got a big scratch on the side of the ring, and I was thinking, oh no, I have to look at this scratch forever. But because of this coating, it's almost like a self-healing coating. It's a little bit more advanced than how I'm describing it. But basically, if you do scratch it, that scratch will go away. Now, obviously, if you take like a chisel to it, I'm sure you can give it some permanent damage, but just kind of your day-to-day activities, maybe you bump up against like a granite countertop or something like that, and there's just like a small scratch on the ring, it might show up for maybe about 10 minutes or so, and then a little bit later on, that scratch will then go away. Now, definitely, if you look at this very closely, it doesn't look like it's necessarily brand new, but at the same time, it's really hard to see any evidence of really any major usage. So certainly using this ring for a year or multiple years, I can't imagine that it'll take so much wear that it'll actually look bad, because so far it still looks almost as fresh as when I unboxed it. So as I mentioned, this is my first smart ring. I've never used any other smart rings. My wife has used a lot of them, but I personally have not. And in fact, when I first heard about smart rings being a thing, I was like, oh no, another smart accessory. Like, can we not, please? But I've actually been pleasantly surprised with this, and I actually think smart rings have a ton of potential, and certainly this is someday gonna be something that I think everyone's gonna have. So here's the reason why. Now, I'm not someone that typically likes to wear watches or anything like that. I own an Apple Watch, I've got the OnePlus Watch 3, I've got a Withings watch, and I do like to wear those on certain occasions. But I'm not the type to want to wear a smartwatch every day, and especially when I'm sleeping. Now the ring, on the other hand, when I put this on my finger, it is so light. Obviously I've got my wedding ring too, but this ring is so light that I literally do forget that I'm wearing it throughout the day. Now there is a lot of competition to Ultrahuman, and I have noticed some of those competitors, such as Raycon, appear to be a bit slimmer compared to this, but I have not noticed anything annoying about the ring being too thick or anything like that. It doesn't get in the way or anything. It's not like it's overly bulky. It really doesn't feel bulky at all. So I guess the point is that the reason why I like the smart ring approach instead of necessarily wearing a smartwatch every day is that I truly forget I have this on. And then since I don't have to charge it on a daily basis, that's another reason why I forget it's not on. So I feel like the best type of wearable tech is literally when you don't remember you're wearing it. And this entire conversation certainly could be a separate video, kind of debating smartwatches versus smart rings. But keep in mind, you're getting all of the various health benefits of a smartwatch with this smart ring. You're just not getting your notifications, you're not gonna be able to pull up apps, of course, and that's totally fine. I don't even like using those types of features necessarily on a smartwatch. In certain situations, yeah, it's helpful to know if someone's calling me or if someone DM'd me to be able to see it on my wrist. But mostly, it's the health features that I want from a wearable. And you're still getting that here with pretty much any smartwatch, and especially the Ultrahuman Ring Air. Now, good hardware is still pretty useless without good software, and thankfully Ultrahuman is good with both of those. So their app is actually really good. And in a second, I'm gonna switch camera angles to really get in depth here with the app so I can show you all the various features that we're getting. But as far as connectivity goes, you are gonna have the ring connected to your phone via Bluetooth at all times. And since getting the ring, I've literally never had any connection issues. I haven't had to disconnect it and then reconnect it for it to actually connect, none of that. Literally from the day it was set up, everything has just worked completely well. It's almost like Apple made this ring with how well it works with my phone. And then when I open up the app, it'll immediately update with all the latest information from the ring. So I think for the purpose of saving battery, it's not constantly sending info to the app, but if I open the app, that will summon the ring then to transfer that information over. And that whole loading process of the information updating here literally takes about 5 seconds. Let's now take a closer look at the app. So here's the Ultrahuman app. So I really like the app in the sense that it's super responsive. All the information that you need is here, and it's also very intuitive with the way it's laid out. So if you swipe over, you can go to previous days. So that was yesterday, then the day before, and I can compare all my various stats from day to day. And then also up here in the corner, I can see the current status of the ring. So I can see how much battery is remaining. There's also different modes. There's airplane mode if you're traveling, also background sync. So the ring syncs with the app automatically in the background. I like that feature personally, but if you do want to turn that off, you can save some battery life. There's various battery usage modes. So I'm in turbo mode, which is pretty much the mode with no compromises. But we'll go back here and see what else there is. So you can see movement. So this will show how many calories I've burned so far today, my total steps. As you can see, both of those metrics are pretty bad because I've been sitting around recording videos all day. We've got stress rhythm, also caffeine window. So I've already broken this. I have a coffee that I got a little bit later in the day that I'm still working on, but technically I was supposed to stop drinking coffee by 3:52. And then I was supposed to start drinking caffeine. Well, it could be any caffeine, it doesn't have to be coffee, but I was supposed to start at 9:52. So these are all suggestions, of course, and as time goes on, your ring gets to know you a little bit more, and then the suggestions here adjust based on all of that data. Now, the most popular feature of Ultrahuman and really any smart ring is the sleep area, which is right here. So last night I actually had a good rest. I got a sleep score of 85. It detected that I had optimal REM sleep. It also shows you how your sleep went throughout the night. So I fell asleep at 11:32 and then I woke up at 11:57. And then in between, you can see when I kind of woke up during the night, I believe right here, I had to get up and grab some water. So all of that's kind of tracked here, which is pretty cool. And it's also cool that you can, of course, look back on previous days or weeks. I can also go into here into more detail and it'll really break down everything. So there's just a lot of information here. Obviously, I can go through everything with you here in this video, but it's just a lot. So if you end up getting this ring, you can definitely explore around a little bit on your own, but just want to kind of give you a recap here of the various features in the app. There's also dynamic recovery. So it's just giving more information on how my body's been doing throughout the day. Then we also have circadian rhythm. Now I'll be honest, I spent about an hour asking ChatGPT about circadian rhythm and how it works and everything. I'm still confused, but to my understanding, circadian rhythm is kind of related to your body feeling good throughout the day, and also when you should be more mindful of when you should be active or not, with the idea of you listening to this and then it puts you on track better for the next day. We've got sleep debt as well, so it kind of gives you an idea of how much sleep you need the next night to catch up from the previous night. We also have zones, which I think is pretty cool. It's a little more interactive, so you can create groups basically, and then you can compare various stats. Now, none of these stats really get too personal that it would really matter, so that's good at least. But it is kind of a fun way to kind of compare with your various friends that do have Ultrahuman. Of course, there's other information as well, such as heart rate, your cardio age. So I'm younger than my age apparently. I'm 30, but it says I'm 27. And it'll also give you suggestions based on how it knows you. So as it collects more data about you, now it can tell me like when I should taper off on caffeine and when I should get up and stretch and all of that. And then this area right here, power plugs. So these are kind of some bonus features. So I need to try some of these. You can see one of them is social jet lag. So understand the lag between your body clock and your social schedule. That looks pretty fun. Looks like there's a zone for screen time. So there's still just a lot here I still need to explore. Looks like there's a few of them coming soon as well. So basically these are extra modules that you can then load into your Ultrahuman experience. So I guess the takeaway here is that there's just so much information, but even if just a few of these modules actually provide value to you, I feel like that's enough of a justification to get the ring. I'm personally not training for anything. I mean, I want to be in better shape than maybe I am right now, but at the same time, I'm not this big fitness person, if that makes sense. I'm sure many can relate. So I find sleep to be especially useful because prior to getting this ring, I really didn't know how much I slept every night. Kind of just based it off of vibes. So now I actually know. And compared to wearing a smartwatch every night, I've just found it more realistic to wear this ring every night. So as I mentioned before, not only is this video meant to be a review for the Ultrahuman Ring Air, but also I want to go over my experience from when I visited their factory last week in Dallas, Texas. So that was certainly a very unexpected invitation. Ultrahuman reached out on a Monday, and I was literally on a plane by Thursday to visit Dallas. Now, Ultrahuman's an Indian company, and they've been making their rings in India since the beginning, but they literally just opened this factory in Texas, and with that, they're now the only smart ring company building smart rings on US soil. Now for me personally, I don't necessarily choose whether or not I'm gonna buy something based on the country that it's made in, but at the same time, it's always nice to see that a product is being made in my own country. And that's another thing I wanna emphasize as well. Ultrahuman is actually a legit company. They're not just a company that's white labeling a random smart ring from Alibaba. They actually designed this, they created this, and they're manufacturing it. So it might seem like there's a lot of smart ring companies out there, and there certainly are a lot of competitors, but many of them are just rebranding a product that they didn't even create. And another thing I learned is that Ultrahuman is number 2 when it comes to market share in the US after Oura Ring. And I'm sure you're familiar with Oura Ring. I personally have never tried any of their products. I'm certainly open to it, and I don't have anything against them. But I did find it really cool that Ultrahuman is number 2 in the market for smart rings, and by a lot. There's not really a company out there that's even close to being number 3. It's really Oura Ring and Ultrahuman, and then all the rest. So Ultrahuman is not going anywhere, and I definitely like that unlike Oura Ring, they don't charge a subscription. Now they do offer some various add-ons that do involve subscriptions, but you don't need a subscription to use the actual ring itself. Now I found their factory to be super modern and organized. That makes sense because they just set it up. And they actually have really found a very unique and cool way to manufacture these rings. I'm building my own smart ring right now.
Yeah, the white square? Or like the silver? Yeah.
And while their manufacturing method does prioritize efficiency, it also prioritizes quality, and they've really found a simple way to manufacture something that's actually pretty complicated. So what I've learned is that the outside ring is just a ring. There's nothing special necessarily about this material other than what it is. And all the actual tech is what you can see kind of on the inside here. So you can see the tech there on the inside of the ring. That is everything that makes it smart. So there's really 3 parts of how this is made. There's the outer ring, there's the tech, and then there's this clear resin that then holds everything together. So once all the tech on the inside is kind of formed in a ring shape, they then place the resin in there, and then from there, you have to polish it and make sure it's the proper size of what you're trying to actually create here when making the ring. And then from there, you're good to go. So I had a chance to build my own smart ring in the factory, and it was a lot of fun. And then in addition to myself, they also invited about a dozen other creators to the event, so it was really cool to meet all of them. They're from all around the country, and they're also in different aspects of tech. So for example, a few of the creators are more in the running tech side of things, which makes sense with the ring being a fitness accessory. So just a nice diverse group of creators. And definitely some really cool people that I plan on keeping in touch with far beyond meeting them at that event. But I really appreciate that Ultrahuman sent me out to Texas to see the factory firsthand. It was a really fun experience. We did some other things as well. I did a cold plunge the first time, and it was just a good time in general. But with all that said, this concludes my video about the Ultrahuman Ring Air. I hope you enjoyed it and found it to be helpful. Again, this is my first smart ring. I've never used one before this, and I'm really happy with it. I plan on wearing this ring indefinitely. It's certainly not something I'm just wearing for the review period, and it really has become part of my lifestyle now. Now, if you are looking to get your own, again, like I mentioned, if you buy from Ultrahuman's website, you can use the code BREEZE10 to save 10%. I definitely appreciate that. And with all that said, this is Kevin here. I'll see you in the next video, and have a great rest of your day.